it.
Good morning. Heavy hurricanes. New predictions suggest an above average number of hurricanes are expected this year. How many storms you can be expecting?
Plus, variants on the rise. The UK variant causing a spike in cases here in the US. We'll tell you why and what you can do to stay safe.
And we have a rainy weekend ahead. Our weather team will be breaking down when you can expect the rain to end. Get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather.
Good Friday morning to you. I'm Grace Benkowski.
And I'm Blake Dollier. And Grace, we got the rhythm going
We
in the
do.
newsroom today. Busting out the dance moves a little bit before the show. And I don't know, with this weather this week, I'm ready to go out there and dance. It's been gorgeous out.
I know. I can't believe that our temperatures have been in such a comfortable spot this week.
I went out, I played a little basketball, I went to the reservoir earlier this week.
Nice.
It's just so nice out.
All right. Well, how are those weathers going to keep looking?
Yeah, rain moved into the area yesterday, but we have a little break today and this afternoon. Taking a look now at the radar, a few pop-up showers moved in earlier this morning, but clear skies for this morning and going on into the afternoon. Temperatures are a little bit on the mild side, but a cool down is expected later on this week. 56 currently here in Muncie, 56 over in Lafayette, a little bit cooler in Indianapolis, sitting at 51 degrees this morning. And what we're going to be expecting later on in the show is a rainy weekend ahead, and into the sunny skies today. But then sunshine appears once again earlier in the week. And then a cool down next week. We will see average temperatures for this time of year. All of that and more coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thank you. Last year was the most active hurricane season on record, but this year could run for top spot. Weather forecasters are predicting an above average hurricane season. Colorado State University is calling for 17 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. The seasonal average is 12 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. Current warm sea surface temperatures in the subtropic Atlantic are driving the above average probability. Last year saw 30 named storms, 13 hurricanes, and 6 major hurricanes.
41 people have died and 9 have been injured so far as floods devastate Indonesia. High-intensity rains triggered the flash floods in 4 villages in East Flores last week. 5 bridges collapsed and dozens of houses came under mud as a result. 27 residents have also gone missing, according to Indonesia's disaster management agency. The deputy prime minister called the floods the worst incident the region had seen in over 40 years. Indonesia's weather agency said this is likely to not be the end of the flooding, as a tropical cyclone is expected to bring more rain to the area.
And back here in the U.S., high risks for wildfires across Wisconsin has led the governor to declare a state of emergency. This is what it looked like last week in Milwaukee. A precaution crews evacuated about 10 homes. Thankfully, no one was hurt and nothing was damaged. But under this executive order, the state can get help from Army National Guard Black Hawk helicopters to the area in most need. The DNR has asked for support from the Wisconsin National Guard. The Menominee Falls fire chief told WTMJ this is the largest wildfire he's seen in the area he's battled. And in California, the Pacific Gas and Electric Company is facing criminal charges for allegedly sparking a massive wildfire. Tuesday, the Sonoma County District Attorney charged PG&E with 5 felonies and 28 misdemeanors. The charges include unlawfully starting a fire which caused bodily injury, unlawfully burning inhabited structures, unlawfully causing a fire which burned forests, and various pollution crimes. In 2019, the Kincaid fire burned through nearly 78,000 acres of vegetation in Sonoma County. An investigation found it was ignited by electrical transmission lines owned and operated by PG&E. The fire destroyed 374 structures, damaged another 60, and injured 4 people. A hearing in the case is scheduled for April 20th.
On Tuesdays, officials in Tampa said progress was being made to prevent millions of gallons of wastewater from spilling into nearby homes and businesses. Last week, a leak in the containment wall was discovered at Piney Point, a former phosphate plant. Residents were evacuated on Thursday, and since then, crews have been pumping more than 30 gallons of wastewater from that reservoir into Tampa Bay every day. Crews said they believe they have stopped a catastrophic breach, but Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture has said the full environmental impact of moving wastewater into Tampa Bay is still unknown.
We are destroying the future of our state, and we cannot afford to do that. And if we had done what was right 20 years ago, and every subsequent administration since, if we had done what was right back then, we might not be on the hook right now for $200 million.
The Environmental Protection Agency is changing Trump-era guidance on chemicals. The EPA says Trump administration political officials compromised an assessment of chemical dangers. Biden's EPA has now replaced the assessment with a new one they say upholds the tenets of specific integrity. The new assessment evaluates chemicals found in drinking water, wastewater, and surface water. It'll allow communities to determine when to take action on potential health risks associated with these chemicals.
Japan's cherry blossoms are in full bloom, but instead of it being a joyous occasion, scientists are actually worried. Experts say this fits into a pattern of early flowering in recent decades, and it's likely the result of climate change. CNN's Selena Wang reports.
Cherry blossom season is coming to an end in Japan. For thousands of years, these flowers have been revered, celebrated with hanami viewing parties. Even during COVID-19, people have gathered from all around to enjoy these stunning sights. These blossoms, which only last a few days, are a reminder of fleeting beauty, but also of the lasting effects of climate change. Cherry blossoms have bloomed exceptionally early across Japan. Scientists say it's a sign of global warming. In Kyoto, blossoms peaked on March 26th. That is the earliest date in more than 1,200 years of records. Here in Tokyo, flowers reached peak bloom on March 22nd, the second earliest date on record. Now, these cherry trees are extremely important for climate change studies because of how sensitive they are to temperature change and because of just how far back the data goes.
Yasuyuki Iono, a researcher at Osaka Prefecture University, tells me he's gathered records from Kyoto back to 812 AD from historical documents and diaries. In the last 200 years, the peak blooming date in Kyoto has been getting earlier and earlier as temperatures rise, he says. Higher temperatures and urbanization contribute to earlier blooming times. This spring has been unusually warm in Japan, he says.
Traditionally, Sakura season is celebrated with picnics and parties and festivities underneath the trees, but they've been restricted this year because of COVID-19, with signs all over like this one reminding people that parties are not allowed. Cherry blossoms hold important cultural significance in Japan. They appear throughout Japanese literature and poetry. It's a symbol of life, death, and rebirth.
Here in Roppongi, the petals have all fallen. The delicate blossoms replaced with green leaves, reflecting the fragility of nature and of our planet. Selena Wang, CNN, Tokyo.
And just ahead, vaccination rates are on the rise. We'll tell you just how many people have been vaccinated.
And counterfeit goods discovered, what fakes are on the rise, and where officials are finding them. That's after Your Weather Now. Welcome back. The current time is 8:09, and you're taking a look outside of campus here. Beautiful day on tap for us here. And officials say the most critical part in the fight against COVID-19 may be the battle between vaccines and variants. As of Wednesday, the UK variant is officially the most dominant strain of the virus in the U.S. Hospitalizations are also up 6%. However, deaths are down 16% from 2 weeks ago. But despite that, health officials warn it's premature to declare victory. CNN's Nick Watt reports.
That more contagious coronavirus variant first found in the UK now dominates here in the US.
It is the most common lineage, period.
And it's fueled an upswing of new cases and hospital admissions. Just 5 states account for 43% of all new cases this past week. But the nation's daily death toll still falling. Why? The CDC says that's down to vaccinations, particularly among the elderly. Last night, a bold prediction from the White House on the vax front.
By the weekend, half the adults in the country will have had their first shot.
Over-optimistic? This morning, confirmation. Yeah, it was.
Sometime likely this month, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to get to about half.
CNN analysis shows some states like New York might vaccinate all willing adults by mid-June. Some other states, like Georgia, might be the end of the year. The president remains cautious.
We aren't at the finish line.
So where is that finish line?
We'll know it when we see it. It'll be obvious as the numbers come down rather dramatically. It's on the way. Hang in there.
I will be going to karaoke as often and as much as I can.
This 95-year-old veteran COVID survivor, Bon Jovi fan, is ready.
What's that one about the cowboy and a motorcycle? Wanted Dead or Alive, yeah.
19% of Americans have been fully vaccinated so far, according to the CDC. Research has indicated vaccinations are effective against the UK variant.
And while 19% of Americans have been fully vaccinated, even more began rolling up their sleeves. According to the CDC, 1 in 3 Americans have received at least one shot of the coronavirus vaccine. More than 109 million people have received at least one dose. The CDC says the nation is administering about 3 million vaccine doses per day on average.
And as vaccinations continue to rise, many are still using masks to protect themselves from coronavirus, but it turns out some masks may be counterfeit. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection has seized more than 34 million counterfeit masks in the last year, but about 20 million of those masks were seized in 2021. More than 108,000 fake N95 masks were seized in Cincinnati in February, and more than 65,000 fake respirators were found at Chicago O'Hare International Airport last month. The CBP says these counterfeit masks are modeled to resemble N95s, but they may be missing components that reduce the level of protection. And FEMA is launching a massive funeral assistance program to help families of the 500,000 Americans who have died from COVID-19 Monday. The program is offering to reimburse Americans up to $9,000 for funeral expenses of a coronavirus victim. Households that have lost more than one family member to COVID, they can apply for up to $35,000. The deaths in question would have to occur after January 20th, 2020, and be attributable to coronavirus. FEMA received $2 billion from the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplement Appropriations Act of 2021. They're launching a toll-free number to provide more direct assistance to customers. Applicants will have to supply paperwork on funeral costs as well as the cause of death.
Youth sports and after-school activities appear to be causing COVID-19 clusters. That's according to the CDC. After several coronavirus outbreaks have been linked to school tournaments or extracurricular activities. In today's Health Minute, Steve Nannies has a closer look, including recommendations from health experts to keep kids safe.
Youth sports may be one factor fueling the latest spread of COVID-19. The CDC now says youth tournaments and extracurricular activities are creating clusters where coronavirus can spread among children.
We're working to facilitate increased testing that is happening on the ground in the context of youth sports.
Health officials say as kids continue to play indoor sports like basketball, hockey, and wrestling, it's causing an increase in COVID-19 cases in some parts of the U.S.
We are seeing a higher proportion of younger people who are getting ill and unfortunately getting hospitalized.
In Florida, the CDC reports the virus was linked to high school wrestling tournaments in December, where 38 people were infected. And in Minnesota, officials there say the B.1.1.7 variant, first found in the UK, spread through one county where at least 68 cases were linked to youth sporting events.
School sports, particularly team sports, which people engage in close contact without masks. I think that is what is explaining these surges of cases in young individuals.
So what do you do if you have kids in sports? The CDC recommends minimizing the time spent indoors and reduce the amount of time players spend in close contact with each other. For today's Health Minute, I'm Steve Nannis.
Health experts also recommend having children play outdoors whenever possible and not to share water bottles. And you know, Blake, I think it's the perfect weather to do so. Go outside, enjoy some sports, and just relax.
It's been perfect. Like I said, I went and played a little basketball earlier, and oh my goodness, it felt great to get out, get active. Ryan, are we going to be able to continue to do that?
Not necessarily. I mean, we had those record-breaking temperatures earlier this week with temperatures pretty much in the 80s, but we will begin to come back down to earth a little bit. As you see, you can tell where this cold front is coming through the air right now. Look at it. Billings is only at 31 degrees at this hour. Denver is only at 30. But if you look at further east, you're going to see those temperatures are still pretty warm at this hour. As you look at today's highs, you're going to see, first of all, I'm going to take your attention to the southwest. Look at this. 85 degrees is going to be a high, but look at this little red area right here. This is San Antonio. San Antonio is going to be at 96 degrees today. That's hot right there. Now that's even hot, above average for this time of the year. But if you take a look at further north, you're going to see those temperatures are a little bit cooler for this time of the year. And back to averages, as a matter of fact. And speaking of that, the next 6 to 10 days, you're going to see that the temperatures are going to be pretty much in the nation's heartland. It's going to be pretty much below average. The only really area that's going to be above average is pretty much out here in the southwest and the northwest out there. If you take a look at the radar and you look at the watches and warnings, there is a high fog advisory over here for parts of northern Wisconsin and parts of Minnesota as well. So they're dealing with some fog there this morning. If I take your attention to this southwest over here in Texas, right around San Antonio where the heat is, you're gonna see there's pretty much it's gonna be a red flag warning for them. You also see some high wind advisories as well for all parts of Oklahoma as well. And you take a look at this radar, again, you can see some passing showers in the area, not too much in the way of any severe weather, but there is pretty much, the cool air is coming back into our area. It's not going to be terribly cold, it's more so back to normal.
But it's not going to be what we're used to by any stretch.
Yeah, we got a little bit spoiled for a while, so, but San Antonio, they're going to be baking today, so, we ain't going to have to worry about those type of temperatures, but we do have to worry about the 50s, low 60s coming back into our area. So.
Well, we talked about maybe making a trip to Costa Rica until we were told it was going to rain there all week, so maybe we should just go out to San Antonio, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just go there. What do you guys say?
If you like the warm weather, if you like the 90s, yes, that'd be a perfect place for you.
I'll get my cowboy hat on and we'll book our flight here in just a minute. And also in just another moment, we'll have an update on your space news.
And we'll take a check on your local weather, and that's after a message from Mitz.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, Mitz will take you there.
Welcome back. The current time is 8:19 and you're taking a live look outside of campus. It's looking pretty good out there, getting ready to start my day, and right now we're going to be talking about your space news. The Hubble telescope has captured a rare cosmic spectacle. 2 pairs of intense beacons of light called quasars in separate galaxies that are merging. Massive black holes are powering the quasars, and this simulation imagines what they would look like in more detail. The quasars are circling in a tightening orbit. Within a few million years, they'll smash together and create a single, even larger black hole. That's pretty crazy.
Absolutely. And if you want an update on a story we brought to you a few weeks ago, we're going to Mars now. A few weeks ago, Ingenuity helicopter survived its first night on the freezing cold surface of the red planet. This is an image of the helicopter as seen by the Perseverance rover. It's located on an ancient lake bed in Mars where temperatures can drop to negative 130 degrees. I don't know that I'd want to be out in that kind of weather.
No,
a little
sir.
too cold for my liking, but Ingenuity separated from Perseverance on April 3rd. Now that it's on the surface of the red planet, it's got 31 days to conduct up to 5 different test flights. The first one could be as soon as Sunday.
Taking a look now at the radar, we can see another system starting to push into the northwestern part of Indiana, but over here in Muncie, it's quiet for our region. Sunny skies, a few patchy showers moved in earlier this morning, but sunny skies is the story for this afternoon. But going into tomorrow, we will see another round of rain showers move into our area. Timing that out now on Precision Cast, we can see them start to move in around 11:30 over in our southwestern part of our counties. But then going throughout the day, they start to become more widespread in our southern part. And then going throughout the day, they really start to become more widespread for most of our counties. And then by 6:30, they are isolated, and then going throughout the night, clearing skies, but then once again on Sunday morning, the rain showers start to move back in. And for your Sunday morning and going into around the lunchtime hour, we can expect more rain showers. And how much rain will we get? Not too much here in Muncie. As I mentioned, it's isolated showers around our area. A little bit more over to our east over in Dayton. About a ½ an inch of rain predicted over there. And speaking of temperatures, 56 currently here in Muncie, 56 in Lafayette, cooler in Indianapolis sitting at 51 degrees. And going into the next 8 hours, we warm up slightly up into a high of 75 degrees today at 4 p.m. And this will be the last time we see 70s for just a little bit as a cool down is on the way. And going into today, as I mentioned, a high of 75 degrees, mostly sunny skies. We could have seen some rain this morning with the winds coming out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Gusts up to 30 miles per hour, so make sure to hold on your hats this afternoon. Going into tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low of 55 degrees. Winds coming out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We could see those gusts up to 20 miles per hour. But then going into this weekend, that rain does show up, as I mentioned on the Precision Cast. Tomorrow, high of only 69 degrees. Those winds staying steady out of the south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then morning showers on Sunday, a high of 61 degrees. Those winds coming out of the southwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. And then going into the next 7 days, we can see a cool off, as Ryan mentioned, in the next 6 to 10 days. On Monday, sitting at 65 degrees, and Tuesday, a high of only 60 degrees, and lower 60s for the middle of next week, and then rain chances returning once again on Wednesday and Thursday.
You know what? I don't think I'm ready for all of this rain. I'm not ready to say goodbye to the sun. I've been enjoying it a lot.
Well, the rain and the wind, you said hold on to your hats. I'm going to hold on to my cowboy hat because in case you missed it, Hope, we're all going to San Antonio where it's warm.
Yeah, well, it's cooler here, so I'd much rather be in San Antonio. I don't know about 96-degree weather, but
I'll take it. I'll take it any day of the
honestly.
week. How'd you like to golf out there? I know you like to golf. I mean, 96 degrees out on the course, is that too much for you?
I think so. I did golf earlier this week when it was 80, and it was perfect outside. Those sunny skies, I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to get out there myself. Thanks, Hope. And in just a moment, a new Prince album dropping this summer. We'll tell you where you can listen to the title track.
And we'll take one last look at weather. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Time to take a look at some of your top stories this week in your Cardinal Weather News Minute. Happening today, testimony will resume in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. 30 witnesses have testified so far. Yesterday, Dr. Martin Tobin to the stand for the prosecution. Tobin reviewed the autopsy and said nearly 95 pounds of force were placed on Floyd's neck, and his cause of death was low oxygen. The medical examiner who performed the initial autopsy is now expected to testify today. We're learning new information in the February car crash that left golf legend Tiger Woods with serious injuries. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department says Woods was driving at nearly double the speed limit. The department says he reached speeds as high as 87 miles per hour. The posted limit was 45. Investigators say the car hit a tree and went airborne. Woods says he was not drinking or under any medication. The Ball State Foundation is saying thank you for your support following One Ball State Day. More than $778,000 and 9,000 gifts were donated, which smashed last year's record. This was the third year for the Giving Day. Money raised goes to support different organizations across campus. And that's your News Minute. Let's send it to Jack Van Meter for breaking down the science. Good morning, Jack.
Today on Breaking Down the Science, we're going to be talking about nitrogen fixation. What does that mean? Well, that's basically where lightning turns the atmosphere into nitrogen and the plants use it. Now, we all know the saying, April showers bring May flowers, and that is very true for two reasons. One, a lot of precipitation, and two, the warmer temperatures help promote that plant growth. But there's a third factor in there that is actually very beneficial, and that is going to be lightning here. Now, let's look at the atmosphere real quick. We know 70% of the atmosphere is actually nitrogen and only 20% is oxygen. We can't really do anything with the nitrogen in the air, and plants can't either. What has to happen is it has to be broken down, and we're going to learn about the nitrogen cycle, which I'm sure we all remember from biology class. I mean, I had to even look it up last night. But what's going to happen is when a thunderstorm comes rolling through, bolt lightning is going to come out. It's so hot and intense that it'll take that nitrogen atom, particle, and split it in half into nitrates. And those nitrates, what they'll do is they will get absorbed into the rain and fall down to the earth. And once they hit the ground, it'll get absorbed into the dirt, and then the plants will take it up and use it as nutrients. Farmers have been putting nitrogen into the soil for a decent bit now. It really helps get those plants strong and sturdy. Also, you will notice when there's a thunderstorm that moves through the area, plants will look greener afterwards. You know, your lawn's going to look lovely, and you know everything's going to be saluting you because of all that nitrogen that's in the air. So toss it back to the desk now, and that was Breaking Down the Science.
Never before heard music by Prince is being released 5 years after his death. The Prince Estate and Legacy Recordings has announced the release of Welcome to America. Prince wrote and recorded the album before a 2010 tour, but it was never made public. The album is dropping July 30th, but the title track, Welcome to America, is already streaming on several platforms, including Spotify and Apple Music.
And need a cheap getaway? The U.S. has a new budget for an airline option. Avalo Airlines launched Thursday at Hollywood Burbank Airport. The airline claims to be America's first new mainline airline in nearly 15 years. Nonstop routes offered include 11 destinations along the West Coast, as well as Arizona, Montana, and Utah. To kick off its service, Avalo is offering introductory one-way fares starting at only $19 on all of its routes. Flights begin taking off later this month. $19 flights, that is crazy.
$19, I mean, for $19, we could go to San Antonio this week, Costa Rica next week. I mean, what's next? What's your guys' next destinations here on our little Cardinal Weather flight tour around the world?
Well, you know, I don't know if I probably can't go with that airline since it's only staying kind of on the west, but I would say if I had to go somewhere, it would probably be Florida.
Florida, yeah, that's a good option. It's a little humid down there, but like this time of year, it's absolutely perfect. You got an ocean on both sides. I mean, where could you go wrong, right?
Right? Hope, where would you go?
Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere definitely warm. Maybe Arizona.
Arizona's a good option.
Yeah.
And I know you were in California a couple weeks back, so like
that was
maybe you could go back there too.
Yeah, I would definitely take that over the temperatures that we're going to get later on into next week, because it's going to be a big cool down for us since we've been spoiled with this above average temperature later last week. So going into this weekend, rain chances return once again Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, temperatures drop back down into the 60s. Rain chances return once again on Wednesday and Thursday, but plenty of sunshine for Monday and Tuesday.
And that's all for Cardinal weather this Friday morning. We're still dancing over here. And unfortunately for me, it'll be my last ever Cardinal weather as I'm graduating. And not that I'm counting, but 30 days.
We're definitely going to miss Blake, but we'll see you next Friday. Have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend.